Welcome back to the channel. So you saw from the title, it's a bad day here at Blue Collar Speed and Repair. So last video, C10, we did a carburetor swap and HEI, which I borrowed for something else, but running great. And 2 days later, I was heading to work. It was raining absolute buckets, and unfortunately hydroplaned, went off the road sideways into a telephone pole. So slight damage. So cab shifted over, the door, obviously the front clip shifted slightly, but I think it's okay. And it did unfortunately tweak the frame and got into the bed as well. So sucks, but you know, these things happen, unfortunately. Luckily enough, you know, people always say, you know, it could have been worse. Well, this could have definitely been worse. I was completely unscathed, not a scratch, not a bruise at all. So there was no innocent bystanders, no bystanders, no other vehicles involved, and I'm extremely glad it didn't happen with somebody sitting in that passenger seat. So you know, at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but it's a hunk of steel that can be repaired or replaced. So not sure what we're going to do with this thing yet. I've got a few ideas. This running gear can come out and go in anything. I can get a cab, I can get a bed. Maybe when we tear it down and look at it, maybe we can fix the frame. I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm kind of working through some ideas, see what I want to do. Other than that, one of my previous videos, I went through and talked about some projects I wanted to come up with, you know, a daily driver, four-wheel drive, some other odds and ends that I've been kind of wanting to do. Got a new project. It's none of those things. So this is a 63 Galaxy, basically. It's a Ford 300, which is a base model Galaxy. It uses all the same sheet metal, everything. It's basically the only thing different is badging and trim, to my knowledge at least. I'm not an avid Ford guy. I'm not a, you know it all. I can't just look at something and point it out. My understanding, Ford 300 is a 1 year only 63 in name only. The 64 and later became I believe they call it a Ford Custom. So cool thing about this car is it's got a 390 in it. Manual steering, manual brakes, no air conditioning, any of that stuff. It's bare bones. And the coolest part is it is a factory 4-speed and a Ford 9-inch, obviously, with a 350 gear. So this should be a very fun car to drive. Boss lady has already fallen in love with it, so I think once it's actually driving down the road, I'll probably never get to touch it again. So the story on this car, the very sweet old lady that we got my son's Camaro from, her husband passed away last year, which is why she sold the Camaro, and she decided, I guess, to sell the house. She can't do the stairs, too much for house for her, whatever. So she called us up last week and said, there's another car in the basement, are you interested? So as well as other stuff, and we'll get to that stuff here in a minute. So went and looked at it. It was obviously in the middle of being restored. It's all been painted. The interior is actually gorgeous. There's no carpet in it, but seats and everything are beautiful. The rear seat is sitting over there, also recovered. That box there and next to it is brand new door panels and rear trim panels. There's all kinds of trim. This is all the interior trim that's been painted. There's kick panels, the window regulators, the glass is over there. There's a couple grills, headlights, rounds. We have 95% of this car, it looks like. Main things we haven't found is package tray, which is no big deal, a rear bumper, and the fuel tank. is out of it as well, which is, none of those things are that big of a deal. There's a lot of little stuff. We found the trim stuff for like the door handles. We haven't actually found the actual door handles. Obviously we could probably source those. So plan is just to get this thing running and driving and enjoy it. It shouldn't be too bad. I went through, this engine looks fairly fresh, but it does have some run time. I pulled spark plug out. It does have some soot on it, and there's a little bit of I wouldn't say buildup, but carbon deposits on the piston. So it's been gone through and at least broken in. The oil looks brand new. Other than it does smell like fuel a little bit. So like I said, this has at least been broken in. There's no exhaust on it. Obviously it's not in a driving state. We pulled it out of the basement and both passenger side brakes were locked up. So we had to beat those with a hammer, got those to come loose. So it's going to need a full brake rework. Other than that, future plans are some upgrades. We do have all new drum brakes for the rear. Pricing out disc brake options for the front with a dual pot master cylinder. This does have just a single manual brake setup. So I'd like to do dual, possibly power with front discs. Other than that, that's pretty much it on this. Like I said, we're just going to kind of go through it mechanically, get it running, driving, see if we can enjoy it, and kind of just tinker as we go. I'm really excited to wash it. I think it's going to be a gorgeous car when we get finished up. So other than the car, in the basement was 4 motorcycles that are up in the garage. One of those is actually very, very cool. We might get that on a video later. And so when we talked to the lady, she basically said, there's this car, there's all these other things, there's these motorcycles, oh hello, anything vehicle related in the basement, here's the package price. And we made a deal with her. So included in that was this Chevy small block that, I don't know, apparently it looks like it's kind of been dressed up a little bit. Started looking at it. Oops. So roller rockers, assembly lube. This has not been ran. I haven't pulled the oil pan off or the timing cover off to see what cam is in it. Obviously this thing has a fresh rebuild. I pulled a spark plug out. It's got brand new valves in it, brand new 30 over pistons. So it'd be exciting to see what this combination is exactly. Somebody spent a few dollars on getting this thing set up. So with that, if we walk over here, there is a Muncie 4-speed, and the side panel was loose, and it's all got all brand new guts in it as well. So not that I need another project that I just fell apart. We have an engine and a 4-speed to find something to put that in, as well as a Hurst shifter. So plenty of future projects coming, plenty of ideas. Not sure which direction we're going. For today, this thing, I'd like to make it make noise, see if we can make it idle. Obviously there's no brakes, brake pedal goes to the floor. Check the fluid in the transmission, differential, that kind of stuff, kind of go over it mechanically and start making a list of what we're going to need to make this thing a driver. So we interrupt your regularly scheduled program. Last video, removed the Holley sniper system from my 74 C10. So having issues with this thing. Always kind of had some troubles with it, fighting with it. So ultimately decided to go back to carburetor. So shortly after that, I was doing some maintenance work on my 88 crew cab dually, which also has a sniper system and a Hyperspark distributor. So basic maintenance, just spark plugs, stuff like that. And it does burn oil. So anyway, so I found right after that, I started having problems with it as well. So while I was troubleshooting that and trying to figure it out, I found that if I move the wires going into the distributor, it would change how it ran. So all this is like a magnetic pickup. So it's a magnet here that reads a value as these pass by for cylinders. Well, if you watch it, it's moving a lot. And you can actually, I don't know how well you can see it in there, and I don't feel like taking it all apart right now, but there's actually metal transfer. So this was actually touching at some point. Well, it's probably touching now. You can see that there. See how much it's moving. I don't think that should be moving.
You can hear the dragging.
Yeah, you can actually hear. I don't know how much that's the magnet and how much that's actually dragging, but you can actually see the marks where this has been making contact. So like I said, this thing is moving a lot and it shouldn't be. So I went back to the distributor, the Hyperspark distributor that was in the C10. Now it's doing the same thing. Obviously this one's got a bunch of corrosion on it, which I don't think is that big of an issue, but you can hear that.
The grinding.
Yeah, and you can see the pickup moving. All that to say, there's probably nothing wrong with this unit itself. All my issue was probably in the Hyperspark and the distributor itself. The dually, I yanked the distributor out, obviously, put the HEI that I previously had in the C10 in it, and it's been fine again ever since. So if you have a Holley system, if you have a sniper system, just be aware of that. Holley did offer to repair it, but I have two bad ones. I'm not sure I want to trust it long term. So again, if you have this system, maybe you don't have an issue. Maybe it's something I did. It's very possible. Don't know. I don't know how I could have damaged this pickup in two of them, but anyway, back to the regular scheduled stuff we're doing. New project you're about to see. It's a good one, so keep watching. All right, first things first, we're gonna try to turn this engine over by hand. Probably a good place to start. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that's a good start. All right, so we don't know anything about this engine, like, at all. So I don't even know how long it's been sitting. We found receipts for some parts for other stuff in the car from like 98 and 2000. So again, I don't know when the engine was built and when it was ran last. So I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out, lube the cylinders a little bit, and I have like one of those distributor prime tools. Probably pop the valve covers off and use the priming tool, make sure we got oil coming up to the valve train. So By the looks of it, this engine has been ran. Plugs aren't worn at all. The tips and everything are still really square. They're just little black stuff on there. That's all right. What are you doing?
Getting a wrench for you.
Of course, that cart's all covered up.
Are you get the hitch up rope?
Well, that looks really good too. You said this was kept in a basement, so I'm gonna mark where this rotor's pointing, and then as well, I'd like to mark so I know where the distributor's at. Hopefully when we put it back together, it was in a running state.
See if you can fit in there.
I'm sorry. This isn't overly convenient for my short, stubby fingers. Come on. Yeah. It's turning freely. Ow.
We need to tighten these back bolts in there.
What am I missing? I think we should probably drain some water out of this so it doesn't go right down the distributor hole. So I've got a gauge cluster or gauge package deal kind of rigged in, at least temporary, coolant and oil, and spray some lube down the cylinders, let it soak for a minute, and then probably jam a battery in this thing and see if we can make it crank. Try to catch some of this stuff coming out, since this is officially the nicest car we own. The C10 sacrifices battery for us.
Nothing smoking.
No smoke?
No
Not
smoke.
yet? I'll give this a second here. The harness and everything looks pretty good, but they did chew on like the spark plug wires and stuff like that, so. Okay, I'm gonna turn the key on and see what happens. Just on first. Any lights or anything in there?
Left turn signal.
No? No, that doesn't exist up here, so.
Well, a left turn signal indicator light.
Yeah, anything else? Is it on no matter what the switch is doing?
No, it's left is on, and then in the center, all of them are off, and then right. Right.
Try pulling the headlight. Hey,
Generator light came on like that.
headlights are on. Try the high beam switch. I think it's just laying on the floor. Nope. Low beams went off. So probably need a dimmer switch. Switch it again. Yeah, low beams work, but not the high beams. All right, shoot, see if it'll crank. Does something. All right, keep going. Keep going. Not cranking very fast. Might need to put a jumper or a charger. All right, yeah, let's see if we can get this spin a little faster than that. Hit it. Alright, I don't know if that's any better, but we'll leave that charger on for a few minutes while we put the plugs back in. It spit some of the stuff out, so let's just see what happens. Snap the distributor cap back on. I'm going to swap these wires out real quick because I don't feel like getting zapped today. So let me see what I have for wires. Give me a sec. Alright, found some wires. I don't have any straight boot ones. I'm going to have to use the angle boots. They should be fine. These are a Taylor set. So I should be able to just take the boot, slide it on. Actually, need a little bit of stuff. Help put a little dielectric grease or something on it. Cut the end off, expose electrode. There's actually a tool, but I'm lazy to go use it. And the end, which way are we going? Like, pull the electrode back. I like to kind of get it started. And there's this tool here. That's got like little notches in it. Use that to force this into the insulation. That piece and that piece, and then it's just going to clamp it together. That. Again, I like to put a little bit of grease in the tip, a little down the side. Kind of helps with corrosion and stuff too. And then there she is. This one will go number 5. That's 2 done. I'm going to knock the rest of these out real quick and catch back up with you. All right, wires are on, loomed up a little bit, gauges are in. Get this out of the way. That needs a spring, but it is free. How bad am I going to get shocked? All right, go. Nothing, okay? We've got nothing. So, probably should have checked this, but I didn't. Go ahead. Stop. Turn the key off. Off. Okay, crank. Okay. All the spark now. Go again. Okay. Can you see what kind of springs we have that we can use for throttle return? This will work for now. All right, guess we're ready to try this thing. So this is just some regular gas with some 2-stroke oil in it. Whoa, easy now. Hit it. Good enough for me. Do it again. Go ahead. Don't hit the throttle. Go ahead. All right. It runs. All right. One more time. Okay. Oil pressure. Yep. All right. So now we're going to run from the fuel pump to the to a can and see if we can get this thing to idle.
Can we put fuel in that small can, or
And
you want the big
we need to put water back in it too. What?
one? The small can or the big one?
Small one. Now, this is going to sit in here. Not really.
I need to push them out.
Another bungee or something? Is this going to be long enough? This is not going to be long enough. All right. That area. There you go.
Gotta wiggle the key a lot.
He's a little sticky. People are waiting.
I'm waiting.
No, it's pumping.
Again?
Go. Fuel leak. Okay. 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 come down a little bit now that it's warm. Holding right at 190. Got a little surge to it too. Got a little bit of a surge to it, but did just get woken up from a very long nap, so I'll keep tinkering with it. Probably give it a little bit of a tune-up, but it runs. I'm excited. Sounds good. Sounds like it's got a cam of some sort in it. Again, I don't know anything about this engine. The little old lady, nice lady, just said, come get this car if you want it. So we did. So I think that's where we're going to leave this one. This car will be coming back to the channel probably quite a few times. Like I said, she's in love with this thing. So gotta get brakes figured out, a little bit of tuning here and there, wheels, tires, try to get this thing on the road. So if you're interested, know anything about these cars, leave me a comment. I'm curious. Like the video if you would, subscribe, I appreciate it. It all helps very much, and I'll see you guys next time.